With a new Baldur's Gate 3 cinematic to get excited over, I consulted the fine folk at Larian and did a bunch of D&D digging to break down all those sweet nuggets of lore in the new cinematic. The first thing we see is a reference to the Mind Flayer's grand design, which is the Mind Flayer's plan for rebuilding their lost empire that was overtaken by the Githyanki. As well as on the left a carving of a Nautiloid, those rare flying ships of Mind Flayers capable of travel between worlds and the astral plane, as well as what appears to be an Elder Brain in the background, which is the powerful final stage of a Mind Flayer life cycle. The Elder Brains are made up of the many brains of long-dead Mind Flayers, with the combined minds creating an incredible intellect. These are heavily guarded entities that are usually housed in a brine-filled pool within Mind Flayer cities, where they would guide the inhabitants with psychic dreams of Illithid domination. At the center appears to be an Ulatharid, or Enlightened One. These are considered nobles of Mind Flayer society and treated as minor gods by the, in comparison, normal members of Illithid society, which we can see bowing before the tentacle-faced entity. This chamber is something the Mind Flayers use to convert beings into other Mind Flayers, with the centerpiece being a brine pool housing the tadpoles that are used to infect the brain of mortals through a process called Ceremorphosis. More on that shortly. Now, Mind Flayers are psionic creatures, meaning they can influence not only the minds of lesser beings, but also the world around them, which in this case comes in the form of telekinesis or levitation. This appears to be an Elder Brain's brine pool where the Mind Flayer tadpoles are stored. These small burrowing creatures are usually only selected after surviving for 1 decade in the pool, before then being introduced to its new host and starting the Ceramorphosis process. In the previous Baldur's Gate 3 cinematic, we saw an extremely accelerated version of Ceramorphosis taking place over moments, whereas it usually takes around a week for the tadpole to devour a host's brain and the physical changes to begin to take place. Here, however, we take our first look at the Githyanki Lae'zel, one of the main characters in the story of Baldur's Gate 3, as well as being one of the potential player characters or companions.
Abominations grow inside us. Our bones should ache, our mouths should bleed, yet we thrive. It is madness. On the G'arth, the ship, there was a voice. It promised to change us.
Lae'zel has been taken from a Githyanki creche. This is where they are brought up from eggs and trained as warriors. To become an adult and enter into the wider community, a Githyanki must conclude their training by killing a Mind Flayer and presenting their skull to the Queen Vlaakith. We have been told, however, that these aren't your regular run-of-the-mill Mind Flayer tadpole, instead having something very special about them. Now, this is just speculation, but according to wider D&D lore, rare Ulatharid tadpoles can appear, eventually forming one of those nobles we mentioned before. Whether this is the case with these tadpoles in particular, though, we don't yet know. When the game releases, it will launch you into your character creator as this screen fades to black, giving you the opportunity to choose who just met such a grisly fate before the cutscene continues. The pods that are surrounding this room actually contain all of the other potential player characters or companions that you will encounter in Baldur's Gate 3. The dead Mind Flayers on the ground may hint at some combat that has already been taking place, and that your abduction is an effort to regrow the Mind Flayer ranks and replace their losses. And here we see the first appearance of the Nautiloid that you are aboard. In the current D&D universe, Nautiloids are extremely rare, and the Mind Flayer race has actually lost the secrets of constructing new Nautiloids, so it appears that things are desperate for it to appear in such conditions, especially considering that this one in particular is much larger than most. Rumours exist that the larger ones known as Dreadnoughts function as mobile lairs for Mind Flayers, although it is not yet clear if this one in particular fits that bill. Now, the city below is in fact not Baldur's Gate. During our behind-the-scenes look, the team at Larian wanted to make this very clear, but it is in fact the city of Yartar. Yartar is described as being densely populated to the point of overcrowding, which may go some way in explaining why the Mind Flayers thought this would be a good target to start abducting more specimens to convert. What makes Yartar's location interesting, though, is that it's just east of Neverwinter, and a little ways north of Baldur's Gate, which may suggest that Baldur's Gate may not be the only location in the virtual franchise that we will get to revisit. From what I understand after talking to some of the fine folk behind the game, this Nautiloid has modified tentacles that can be used to teleport its prey into the interior cells, ready for their tadpoles to be so gruesomely inserted into their brains, which may again suggest that this is a desperate attempt for the Mind Flayers to expand. Before the Nautiloid can create too much havoc though, we see just what has been pursuing the giant shell of a ship as some red dragons and their riders appear through a nearby portal. One thing to keep in mind in the world of Dungeons & Dragons is that each colour and type of dragon has their own allegiances and alignments, with these red dragons in particular having a pact with the Githyanki that goes back as far as the first edition. For anyone that may be new to the world of D&D or Baldur's Gate, it's important to remember that red dragons are not the only type in the world. To name just a few more, there are acid-breathing black dragons, the lightning-breathing blue dragons, and the ice-spewing white dragons, as well as even dozens more. Now, in order to escape, the Mind Flayer's Nautiloid is forced to use its ability to teleport through planes in what seems to be a vain attempt at preventing any more tentacles from being bitten off. Regardless of Lae'zel being Githyanki or not, the red dragon seems determined to rid the world of this pool of tadpoles. But as the Nautiloid makes a second teleport to escape, this will mark the beginning of the Baldur's Gate 3 campaign as Lae'zel frees the character from the Mind Flayer pod, which I've been told will start off the in-game tutorial and your journey into Baldur's Gate 3. So that's pretty much everything in the cinematic covered. If there's anything I've missed or a theory that you have, please leave it in the comment section below, and if you want more Baldur's Gate 3 content to get excited over, you can check out the chat I had with Mike Mahadi after we got to see a few hours of the game played out live in front of us. As always, you can get everything you need on our YouTube channel or on GameSpot.com.